Hello and welcome to Verbling. I'm teacher Oakley. Sorry for the late start. Went a little late last class. In any case, in this class, we're going to continue as we did yesterday at this time and tomorrow again at this time, looking at collocations of verbs with certain prepositions. Today, mostly we'll be looking at verbs with from and for, a little bit some other prepositions as well. The normal format for this class is I will be presenting material to you for 5 or 10 minutes, trying to kind of explain some ways to think about it or remember the commonalities between using these collocations, why the verbs and prepositions go together, commonalities, and frankly exceptions we always have to look at as well. I'll spend a little time explaining those things, and then the students will take turns in the class doing a number of exercises to check our understanding of these collocations. Okay, so hello Demas, how are you?
Hello, teacher. I'm fine. Good,
Great.
thanks.
Okay, nice to see you. Also, I'd like to welcome Carolina. Hello. Hi, Carolina.
Hello, teacher. How are you?
I'm doing okay today. Good to see you again. Okay. Again, I'm going to present material. I'm going to do a screen share. Please don't be shy. If you have any questions, don't worry about interrupting me. It really helps me to teach the class and clarify information. Actually, I value your questions. Plenty of room in the class for others who would like to join us. Just come on in anytime. Perfectly okay. All right, here we go. First, verbs. Well, actually, we're looking at a verb with of. Okay. All right. Well, lots of verbs go with of. You can accuse somebody of something, suspect somebody of something. Notice here in our example, she accused me of being selfish. Notice the use of the gerund after of. This is very common. Some students were suspected of cheating. Notice the gerund of and the gerund. This is very common. You can't say accuse me to do something. You can't use an infinitive. Suspected to do a crime. You can't. It won't work. So part of the reason we're using of here is because these main verbs, accuse and suspect, kind of demand a gerund, and we need to connect that gerund with of. Okay. Approve of or disapprove of. All right, another common configuration, his parents don't approve of what he does, but they can't stop him. All right, you can approve of something. It doesn't have to be. Now, in some cases, when we look at these verb and preposition collocations, it pretty much has to be followed by the preposition, but not necessarily here. Not usually. Well, definitely not with approve. You can approve funding for the project. You can approve a parking space for an employee, whatever. So it doesn't have to be, but it's going to be a noun regardless. You can suspect somebody. I suspect Walter. Okay. I don't need to have a of after these verbs. Okay, die of or die from. Okay, look at what did he die of? All right, this is very common. Okay, all right. Now, one thing to keep in mind here is quite specific, but usually in the question form, we would say, "What did he die of?" It's a little strange to say, "What did he die from?" However, in the answer, okay, he died from a heart attack. He died of a heart attack. You can use either. It's more common in the question to use of. And here's another one. Consist of. This is a very common mistake here. Okay, we had an enormous meal. It consisted of 7 courses. Okay, consist of. Now there's a difference here between using consist of and made of. Something is made of, and you talk about the material. It's made of metal. It's made of wood. It consists of. It's going to be well. Look, 7 courses. It's going to be a number of things. So we use consist of small wires, metal wheels, and wooden rods. I don't know, whatever. It's going to consist of several things. Consist of and made of. Please don't confuse those with made by. Made by, you're talking about who did it. Okay. All right, let's look at verbs with for. All right, verb in for. Pay for something. Pay somebody for something. All right, I didn't have enough money to pay for the bill. I'm going to pay for Bobby's coffee. All right. Okay, so the normal mistake is to not use for. Pay the meal. I couldn't pay the meal. You need pay for here. Pay for something. Okay, but you don't need for. Weird exception. No prepositions. You pay a bill. You pay a fine. Pay a fee. Pay tax. Pay rent. Pay a sum of money. Pay the water bill. So, okay. All right, notice the exception here. If you're saying exactly what you paid, you don't need a preposition. That's the difference. You pay for a meal. Okay. You pay, or to who you paid, either. I didn't have enough money to pay the restaurant. And then again, I would have to say for the meal. All right. That's a little tricky there. There's not a lot of commonalities we can think of. All right, thank and forgive. Okay. Definitely thank somebody for something. I'll never forgive them for what they did. I need to thank you for helping me with my homework. Okay. The why. Why you're thanking them or forgiving them, you need to introduce with for. Apologize. You apologize to somebody for something. Okay, the why. Again, answering the why. Or the purpose. Okay, notice when we use for, a commonality we can think of is we use for to answer the question why, or what was the purpose. I didn't have enough money to pay for the meal. Okay, the purpose of having the meal. Okay, thank somebody for why. What was the purpose to thank them? What was the purpose to apologize? Okay, blame somebody. Why are you blaming them? What was the purpose for doing something? Everybody blame me for the accident. Okay. blame a problem. You put the blame on, okay, somebody. The accident wasn't my fault. Don't blame it on me. Don't blame me for the accident. So you blame it on a person or something. I blame it on the cat. Doesn't matter what. I blame it on the government. Fine. The who. I blame. Now look. I blame the government for raising taxes. Okay, so it's not always necessary to have on. Although I could say it either way. I blame the government for raising taxes. I blame it on the government. Usually, when we're not going to use for, we need to use on. Okay, I blame the cat for making a mess. I blame it on the cat. Like that. Notice when I'm going to say why I'm blaming, I don't use on. So that's a little technical. Yeah, interesting thing there. Okay, let me quickly welcome Ken to the class.
Yes, hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm okay. All right. All right, we're looking at verbs with a for, from, actually, and of and on is a little bit as well. So it's a little bit of a difficult lesson because there's not some clear commonalities we can grab onto. There's not a whole lot here, but okay, to continue. Suffer from an illness, yeah, okay. There's been an increase in the number of people suffering from heart disease. We notice that here we can't say suffer of heart disease. I can say he died of heart disease or he died from heart disease, but I can't say he suffers of, only from. And here's another verb, protect somebody from something, something, from a noun. Sunblock protects the skin from the sun. Okay. Protect from harm. All right. Great. Or not great. Verb plus on. Okay. Common collocations. Depend on. Rely on. Okay. Notice this construction here. What time will you be home? I don't know. It depends on the traffic. This is really, really common. It's very common phrasing. Depends on something. Again. Another also very common, rely on. You rely on somebody. Okay, here you really need on. There's no you can't use rely and then directly an object noun. I rely him doesn't. I rely on him. I rely on. You absolutely need to have this prepositional phrase. All right. So here's a case where this is a very strong collocation, and it's absolutely necessary. It won't make sense. This and depends too. Now this is a common mistake. It depends the traffic. I've heard this kind of statement a lot of times, and it doesn't make sense without on. I depend you doesn't make sense. I depend on you. Again, these are basically, they're intransitive verbs. They don't take an object, so you have to create a prepositional phrase after. And on is the preposition of choice. Okay, well, now to contradict myself. Are you going to buy it? It depends how much it costs. Notice I can use it with or without, actually, on, if I'm using one of these interrogatives, one of these question words. Depends how much it is, depends how much it costs, Depends where we're going. All right. So here's an exception to what I just told you. You can do this with basically you're making you're creating another clause here, but you don't need on. You can use on. Depends on where the party is going to be. Depends on how fast he is. Okay. So you're never wrong to use on with depends. Okay, live on. Oh, live on. Oh, okay. Well, this one is kind of almost. Yeah, I don't know. It's almost a phrasal verb. Okay. All right. Michael's salary is very low. It isn't enough to live on. Okay. The idea is money or food, and sometimes it's mentioned he lives on bread and cheese. That's all he eats. He lives on $20 a day. That's all the money he has. So, okay. All right. But I can't say he lives on music. That doesn't really make sense. So this is very, very specific collocation. Okay, congratulate and compliment somebody on something. All right. I congratulated her on doing so well in her exams. You compliment somebody on their cooking skills. Okay, another common collocation. You could use for. Okay, I congratulated him for graduating a year early. But notice when I use for, it's an ing. It's a gerund. So it would be okay to say I congratulated him for doing so well in her exams or on doing so well in her exams. You could actually use it either way. Okay. Yeah, interchangeable. On or for would be fine. All right, lots of different things and not a lot of commonalities for us to grab onto. So a lot of strong collocations without a whole lot of patterns involved. It's going to be challenging, but let's try these in some exercises. The first exercise, okay, the prepositions we're looking at, remember, of, for, from, and on. Perhaps in this first exercise, no preposition will be necessary. So please go ahead and read the sentence as a number one, inserting what you think will be the best preposition. As a number one, some students were suspected of cheating in the exam. Yeah, there's no other preposition that would work there. Okay, Dimas, try number two.
Are you going to apologize for what you did?
Very good. That is correct. You apologize for something. You apologize to someone and for something. Okay. Carolina, number three.
The apartment consists of 3 rooms, a kitchen, and bathroom.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Made up of many different things. Great. Can, number four.
I was accused of lying, but I was telling the truth.
Okay. Very good. You're accused of something. Great. All right. Dimas, how about number five here?
We finished our meal, paid the bill, and left the restaurant without
Okay. Nothing.
opposition.
That is correct. Okay. Very good. All right. Okay. Okay. The next one, Carolina, number six here.
The accident was my fault, so I have to pay for the repairs.
Very good. And then here we do use for. Okay. Very difficult to figure out the pattern here. Okay, pay in a direct object. You don't need a preposition. But notice you pay for a meal, pay for the repairs. All right. You pay for, I paid $100 for the bicycle. Okay. A little difficult to figure out. The actual thing you're paying for, you're going to use for, really. It's a tough one. I can't really think of a good way to explain that. Ken, number 7.
Some people are dying for hunger, while others eat too much.
Okay. Now, Ken, some people are dying for hunger would mean that they really want to be hungry. Why
Dying
are they
of,
dying?
dying
Yeah.
of, yeah.
Okay. Right. For, more or less answering the question, okay, what they're doing it for. No, why they're doing it. Why are they dying? For hunger. Okay, of is answering the question what. What are they dying of? You're dying of something. What? Cancer, hunger, lack of sleep, whatever. Okay. Let me welcome Ivan to the class. Hello. Welcome to the class. Ivan, are you there? Hello? Ivan? Welcome, welcome. You are muted. If you unmute yourself, you can say hello. Are you there, Ivan? Maybe you can't hear me. I don't know. Okay, Ivan, if you can hear me, if you can just, there's a little drop-down box where it says you on the right. There's a little arrow pointing down. There's a little drop down there. You can unmute yourself and say hello. So that, okay, or perhaps you're not connected. Okay, let's continue. Demas, number 8, please.
I called Helen to thank her for the present she sent me.
Okay, yes, you thank someone for something. Okay, also keep in mind you don't say thank to somebody. You just thank somebody. It takes an object, a direct object. But you do need for to say why you're thanking them. Great. Carolina, number 9.
The government is popular. Most people approve of what they are doing.
Okay. Okay. Answering, of course, the question what? Of what? It's very direct there. All right, Ken, number 10.
Do you blame the government for the economic situation?
Yeah. Why are you blaming them for the economic situation? That's it. Great. Demas, number 11.
When something goes wrong, you always blame it on other people.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. So far, so good. You guys are rocking this, really. Okay. All right. We're going to try another exercise. In this exercise, the task is to complete the second sentence so it has the same meaning as the first sentence. So, for example, in number 1, Sue said that I was selfish. All right. She accused me of being selfish. Yeah. Okay, so absolutely accused me of something. All right, let's try this. Try this out. Carolina, number 2.
The misunderstanding was my fault, so I apologize. I apologize for the misunderstanding.
That's it.
For my yes, it
Yeah.
was my fault.
Well, you don't even need that part. I apologize for the misunderstanding.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't need it because if you're going to actively apologize, then you know, obviously it can be assumed that it was your fault, that you, at least you think it was your fault. All right. Ken, number 3 here.
Jane won the tournament, so I couldn't congratulate her. I congratulated her. Sorry. Yeah, I congratulated her. Congratulated to Jane for winning the tournament.
Okay. For winning the tournament or on winning the tournament?
On winning the tournament.
Either one would be okay, really. Okay. Either one's all right. All right. Demas, number 4.
Number 4. He has enemies, and he has a bodyguard to protect him. He has a bodyguard to protect him from enemies.
Perfect. Okay. Protect from whatever. Excellent. Carolina, number 5.
There are 11 players in the football teams. A football team consists of 11 players.
That's it. Okay. Again, it's possible. Now, we could never say a football team is made of 11 players. That's impossible. Consists, okay, we're going to add a plural number of different things. Okay. It is possible, however, to say a football team is made up of 11 players. So if we want to say plural things, we can use consists, or you can actually use the phrasal verb made up of the whole thing, really. Okay, Ken, number 6.
Sandra eats only bread and eggs. Sandra lives only eating bread and eggs.
No, I mean, that is a correct sentence. Sandra lives eating only bread and eggs is actually correct. But, okay, what preposition? We can make it simpler by using a preposition here. Okay.
Lives for.
Okay, you gotta be careful with lives for. I live for rock and roll. Okay, maybe. Okay. Okay.
Of.
Not of. It's a very specific use
Lives
here.
in.
No. If she lived in bread and eggs, then that's her. She has a house made of bread and eggs, which would be cool, but highly unlikely. Okay. Very specific collocation. Only used for food or money. Sandra lives on bread and eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I really can't use anything and have it make sense other than very specifically money or food. Again, with for, Ken, if you, it is a common collocation. I live for these moments. I live for rock and roll. Okay. You're expressing the idea of the purpose of something. Maybe we can look at that a little bit more later. For to show purpose. Okay, so this particular collocation, live on, is extremely narrow, really. It's only used for this one reason. Demas, you want to try number 7?
You can't say that your problems are my fault. You can't blame me for your problems.
Blame me for your problems. That's it. All right. Okay. All right. Or you can't blame your problems on me. Yeah, there's 2 ways to do that, actually, Demas. You can't blame your problems on me, or you can't blame me for your problems. Either way, they all mean the same thing, all 3 sentences. Hello, Sam. How are you? And welcome to the class. Hello, hello.
Thank you so much. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, good morning. Okay, Sam, we'll come back to you, around to you in just a little bit. Okay, this next exercise, complete the sentences using these verbs here. Oops, a minute. Here. In the correct form, so you may have to concern yourself with the verb tense and past, present, or future, plus a preposition that it would normally collocate with. So, for example, number 1, his parents don't approve of what he does, but they can't stop him. Okay, Carolina, number 2.
When you went to the theater with Paul, who paid for the tickets?
Okay, yes. That's perfect. Very good. All right. All right, paid for the specific thing. All right. Okay, paid taxes, paid the bill, paid, okay, general words or general things, big things, I guess. We don't need a preposition, but for individual specific things, we do use pay for. Okay, very good. Good job. Ken, number 3.
It's not pleasant when you are congratulated for something you didn't do.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. That is true, but there's another verb. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. But there's another verb I think they're actually looking for here more.
It's not pleasant when you are pay for something you didn't do.
That's also very true. There's a lot of okay. Apparently, there's a lot of very clearly things that if you didn't do it, it's not comfortable. Okay.
Apologize for.
Well, that's also true.
Oh God. Oh, confused.
Okay. Well, this is kind of funny. Okay.
Depend on something.
I think the one they're looking for. Okay. It's not pleasant when you are accused of something you didn't do.
Yes, it's not pleasant.
Yeah, that's not, definitely. I think that's the least pleasant of all of them. Yeah. Well, you go. Okay. You can use almost all of these. All right. Yeah, I think that's the one they're looking out for. It's not pleasant when you're accused of something. All right. Okay, Sam, number 4 here.
Okay, we hope to go to the beach tomorrow, but it depends on the weather.
Uh, okay, depends on the weather. Very good. Depends on. Excellent.
Mhm.
Perfect. Okay. Demas, number 5.
Things are cheap there. You can live on very little money.
Okay. You can live on very little money. Just so you know, another useful phrase, you can get by on very little money would also be very normal and a normal collocation. Get by on, kind of an idiom, an idiomatic, but notice that it still uses on. Get by on very little money. Okay. Carolina, number 6.
You were rude to Lisa. I think you should apologize to her.
Okay, very good. Perfect. Okay, Ken, you apologize to a person, you apologize for something. Ken, number 7.
Alex suffers from back pain. He spends too much time working at his desk.
Okay. What did you say? Suffers from?
Suffer from.
Yeah, all right, very good. You suffer from something. Pretty strong collocation there, okay. And Sam, number 8.
Okay, I think now only one. When I saw David, uh, I congratulate him for passing his driving test.
Okay, very good. All right. Okay. I congratulated him for passing. For or on. You can congratulate somebody for doing something or on doing something. Either one is okay. Okay. And the next set of exercises, add the correct preposition like the first set. If no preposition is necessary, leave the space empty. So, okay, one more round. I'll never forgive them for what they did. For example. All right, Demas, number 2.
They wore warm clothes to protect themselves from the cold.
They wore warm clothes to protect themselves from the cold. That is correct. Be careful of clothes. Technically, the pronunciation is clothes with the voiced th sound, but it is perfectly acceptable to use the reduced pronunciation. Most English speakers do, and that is clothes. So clothes sounds exactly like the verb close the door. Close. Z
Clothes.
sound. It's perfectly okay to do that. And it's a lot easier. So, okay, Carolina, number 3.
You know, you can always rely on me if you need any help.
Okay, yes. And rely is most certainly going to be used, absolutely, is always going to be used with on. It basically has to be used with on. Okay. And next, Ken, number 4. Whoopsie, sorry, lost it. Wrong click there. Just a sec. Okay, Ken, number 4.
Sophie doesn't have enough money to pay for her college fees.
Okay, very good. Oh, okay, Sam, number 5.
Yes. She is often unwell. She suffers from very bad headache.
Very good. Suffer from something. Always suffer from. Very strong collocation there. Okay, great. Demas, number 6.
I don't know whether I'll go out tonight. It depends on how I feel. Maybe no proposition here. Because
Yeah, very good. You are correct. It depends how I feel. It depends on how I feel. Totally as the speaker, your choice. You can say it either way and be completely correct. That's correct. Very good. All right. Okay. Carolina, number 7.
She hasn't got a job. She depends on her parents for money.
Yes. Always depends on. So, yep. Definitely. Okay. Ken, number 8.
My usual breakfast consists of fruit, cereal, and coffee.
Okay. Consists of a number of different things. Perfect. Okay, Sam.
Yes, I complimented her on her English. She spoke she spoke really well.
She spoke really well. Okay, I
Mhm.
complimented her on her English. Now here, I've
Mhm.
mentioned that congratulated or complimented you can use on or for. Well,
Mhm.
yeah, but that's true. I
Mhm.
complimented her for her English. Usually, if you use for, you're going to be using a gerund or ing form of a verb, which is actually a
Mhm.
noun, but
Mhm.
usually, yeah, you'd be using a gerund. So I definitely think on is a better choice here when it's just a direct noun, prepositional phrase. So, yeah, good job. Okay, well, okay. I thought because there's a real lack of continuity of patterns with these collocations, they're just quite kind of specific collocations. I thought this would take us a while to struggle through, so we did that a lot faster than I thought we would. So, okay, let me attempt. I'm going to share a little more material that has to do with. We did have a little problem with for. Let me try to share a little material and look at some stuff here. Hang
Uh,
on. Looking
mhm.
at 4 and
Teacher,
2.
could
Yes.
mhm. Is it possible
Sorry, I lost you, Sam. Hello, hello, Sam. Sam, I lost you for the moment. Okay, so I don't know what the problem is. Hold your question or ask or whatever you need to do to come back and you could ask me the question. But I can't hear you right now. Okay. All right. A little difficulty with for, so I want to talk about for as opposed to two a little bit, and some other weird collocations with for. Weird, different. Okay, here's another confusing point about for sometimes. Good for or bad for somebody, for me, as opposed to good for or bad to me. You can say someone or something is good or bad for you when they have a positive or negative effect on your physical or mental well-being overall. The focus is on their innate character, not specific actions. As in, my boyfriend is good for me because he's relaxed and kind, or fruit is good for my body. Okay. All right. You can also use a person with good or bad to me when you're concerned about actions. Now, okay, the overall kind of overriding idea here is for is like purpose, to show general purpose in English, and to is usually used to show transfer or movement from one to another. All right, so generally we often use for to show purpose or to show actual experience, which is why we use for in a gerund very, very often. It's very common, as opposed to and an infinitive verb, which shows potential or possibility. For is also used for more the idea of, the general thing, as opposed to which is used for specifics. In this case, we're looking at for being general as opposed to being very specific. For example, he is bad to her. He always hits her. It's a very specific action. You could never say the hamburger is bad to her. Okay, because, all right, hamburgers do not have their own volition to take actions. All right, so we're using to because it's an action. All right, more using for and to with nouns and verbs. We use for before noun, generally speaking. Yes, for dinner, I went to the shop for food. Or, in addition, in front of gerunds or ing forms of verbs. For is the most common preposition that we use in front of gerunds. However, we can use other prepositions, but of course infinitives have to use to. While it is possible to use to and a gerund, it's not very common. And generally speaking, when you have to, you're looking at an infinitive. Okay. So we use the infinitive when the purpose is an action. We went to a restaurant to eat. What was the purpose? To eat, an action. I went to the shop to buy food. I went to the shop for food. For noun. To buy, action, food. We went to a restaurant for dinner. See the difference there. Okay. Sam, are you back now?
Yes, I am back. Sorry.
All right.
Yeah, electricity problem. Yeah, sorry for that.
Not a problem. You had a question. Do you remember
Yeah,
your question?
yeah. Actually, I would like to say that is it possible this lesson if you repeat second time? Because unfortunately, I didn't attend today, and yesterday was, and all these verbs for, to, from. Is it
Yeah.
possible?
Yeah. Wow. You're going well. Sure. Or I can do a
Okay, thank you so much.
variation of it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Sure thing. Okay. Okay. We're also speaking of prepositions. We're kind of looking at the using for a little more here. Okay. Right. Never confuse for with to with infinitives. You can't use for with infinitive. To eat, to buy, to play, to relax, whatever. And finally, here are some very common prepositional mistakes that are, well, very common. I've definitely heard married to. Well, okay. I'm married to Elizabeth. Incorrect. I'm married with Elizabeth. Okay. So these are kind of exceptions, right? Usually we're using to in front of a verb, or we use to show where the transfer went. I talked to Paul, transferred information to Paul. So this is a little bit strange. I guess there's definitely transfer here when you're married, I suppose. You're married to somebody. So it's a kind of an exception and it's a little confusing. Ask me, all right, not ask to me. All right. It is talk to me, speak to me, but it's ask me or tell me. You gotta be very careful. It is explain to me, not explain me. You gotta be very careful with using to and all of these speaking verbs. It can be very confusing. The fact is, some of them are transitive, they take an object. Some are intransitive, they don't take an object, so they must be followed with a prepositional phrase, and that's the deal. Okay, it is I am going home, not I am going to home. Here's another weird exception. With the word home, you never need to. I'm going to the mall, I'm going to Arizona. Yeah, you need to. This is just one of those weird English exceptions. Never need to with home, and frankly, it sounds kind of strange if you do use to here. Okay, well, all right, we've still got a few minutes, so I guess we can go ahead and try another exercise here. Why not? Using prepositions. Okay, there's many twos in one verb. I don't know why. A couple ats, couple fors, since. All right. Why not? See how far we can get through this in the next 3 or 4 minutes. Dimas.
I moved to work and live in Spain about 6 months ago, and my husband arrived here a month later.
Very good. Perfect. Okay. Carolina, can you take over?
I remember when I arrived to the airport.
No.
At the
airport. You arrive, you're already there, so there's no transfer. There's no motion when you arrive. You arrived, you're there, right? So you arrive at a specific place. This is a very common mistake. You can never, ever, ever use to with arrived. Okay.
Okay. I remember when I arrived at the airport to collect him.
Okay. All right, and just finish the...
I was overwhelmed with happiness.
Okay. Now, going back to arrived here, just another quick note. Any verbs that have to do with position, like lay, you lay on the bed, or stand, you stand on the balcony. Any of these kinds of verbs that are actually about where you are, but there's no motion involved. If you're standing, you're not moving. If you're sitting, you're not moving. You can't sit to somewhere. You can't stand to. You can't lie to. Well, you can lie to someone by not telling them the truth, but you can't lay to my bed, for example. The same reason you can't arrive to somewhere. These verbs where you're not moving, it's impossible to use to, because to is conveying the idea of motion or transfer. You see?
Okay.
So,
Okay, teacher.
so all of those verbs, there's no way to use to with any of those. Okay, Ken?
Okay.
Yes.
From Dad.
He'd had a long flight, so he went to buy a cup of coffee first and then went out for dinner in the evening.
Okay, very good. To buy, an action showing the purpose. Why did you go? To buy. Why did you go? It's a noun for dinner. Very good. Sam.
Yes, I hadn't seen him in a month, so we had a lot of things to talk about.
Exactly. All right, a verb. Okay. Demas. Continue. Demas, are you there?
After we had eaten, we went home to relax.
What?
To relax.
Yes. Very good.
Yeah. I have one question. May I ask you, teacher?
Sure. Please.
Yeah. Proposition with verb arrive, at or in. What different?
Okay. Arrive. Okay. You would say I arrived in town. I arrived in New York City. I arrived in the United States. A specific place is fine to use in. All right, because it has boundaries, and you're inside those boundaries, and we all know countries and cities and towns and states and territories have boundaries. So it's fine to use in. If you're arriving at the mall, the airport, the station, you normally are going to use at. Okay. You can't say I arrived at Spain. Spain doesn't have a one central location. It's a big location with a boundary. That's kind of the idea. All right. So you arrive in Spain. You arrive at the airport. In some cases, you can use. In some cases, you can use either. I arrived at the mall. The concept is that you're at the main gate at the front of the mall. I'm at the mall. If you call your mother and you say, I'm at the mall. All right. It would be assumed that you're at the front gate. If you say, I'm in the mall, then it would be assumed that you're inside the building. So that's the difference. Okay. Well, I'm over time. So thank you very much.